Hello everyone. Today in this session we are going to start new chapter, second chapter in our first part of elements of accounts, which is final accounts of partnership firm, or you can say financial statements of partnership firm. Now we all aware about final accounts as we have studied in 11th standard also. Final accounts we have to prepare for each and every business entity or business unit for the purpose to know the financial results of the business enterprise during the one completed financial year, and also the financial position of the business enterprise for that completed financial year. So that is why at the end of the year, after completing the preparation of different books of account and after preparing the trial balance, the business enterprise has to prepare their financial statements. These financial statements includes trading account, profit and loss account, and balance sheet. That is what we have studied in 11th standard. Similarly, in 12th standard also, now we are going to see final accounts of a partnership firm. As we have discussed in the first chapter of this 12th standard in the first part regarding introduction to partnership firm, that is we are studying another business enterprise that is in the form of a partnership firm available. Okay, so we have discussed that what is partnership, right, how it is constituted, then what is partnership deed, what are the things included in partnership deed, how we can prepare the different accounts which are required for the purpose of partnership firm, that is profit and loss appropriation account as well as the partners capital account, that we have discussed in the last chapter. Now with the help of that and with the help of the other financial statement we have studied in 11th standard, we'll now start the financial statement of a partnership firm. Okay, second chapter. So we are going to discuss about this financial statement first one by one, not in so much detail because you all aware about these financial statements. We have that in this chapter also we are going to prepare trading account, profit and loss account, and balance sheet, but with these additional two accounts we are going to prepare are the profit and loss appropriation account and the partners capital or current account as the case may be, and that we have learned in the last chapter how to prepare that profit and loss appropriation account, how to prepare the partners capital or current account, and which transactions are recorded in these two accounts, that we have already learned in last chapter. So that is actually a part of your financial statement. That is why first we have learned in the first chapter that how we are going to prepare this. Okay, so now one by one we'll discuss about these financial statements available now, right? So first thing is the objectives of the final accounts of partnership firm. It is given that is same as in the 11th standard we have studied, that to know the gross profit or loss, right? So by preparing the trading account, the firm can find out the gross profit or gross loss of the partnership firm, right? Then to know the net profit or net loss of the partnership firm, so by preparing the profit and loss account they can come to know the net profit or net loss of a partnership firm. Then after preparation of profit and loss account we have to prepare profit and loss appropriation account to know the divisible profit or divisible loss which can be distributed among the partners. Okay, then we can prepare the balance sheet to know the financial status of a partnership firm, right? And the last thing, by preparing these financial statements we can find out the financial result, that is the net profit or divisible profit, and according to that we can define the taxable income of the firm, okay, by preparing this final account. So that we have to define. This taxable income will help to the firm to find out the tax payable to the government, and accordingly they can plan for the tax planning also, that is how to save the tax in a legal way, that they can find out, or they can find out that what is the tax they have to pay, accordingly they will pay the tax, okay, to the government, right? So that is what the objectives of a final accounts of partnership firm. Okay. Now the different final accounts are there. We all know about this, all the financial statement we are going to prepare. Like first one is trading account. So trading account, which is actually prepared for a trading concern only, where the different transactions or different accounts related to the goods are recorded. Like it is already on your screen available. I am showing you one by one in the textbook only, because already you are aware about this, how to prepare this trading account, profit and loss account. So it is not necessary to discuss in detail. Okay, so I am going to show it in your textbook, which is available. The specimens are already given for each and every account. So in the trading account, on debit side, we used to record opening stock, then purchase minus purchase return, and also the goods goes out other than sales. That is like what? The goods burnt by fire, goods distributed as free samples, goods withdrawn by the partners. That is what deducted from the purchase. Okay, then all the purchase expenses, that is we used to say as direct expenses, like wages, carriage inward, railway freight, octroi, import duty. Now octroi, import duty and all these things will not be available, because that nowadays we use the goods and service tax, GST. We have to pay GST now, okay, for the interstate and intrastate transfer, right? So now import duty or octroi or port charges or demurrage, these are the things which may not be available. But then too, whichever it is given at present, we'll find out. Okay, wharfage and production expenses are also direct expenses. For the manufacturing concern, production expenses will be there. Normally for manufacturing concern, the business enterprise has to prepare manufacturing account, but as we are not having that kind of manufacturing account in our syllabus, so sometimes some manufacturing expenses may be provided in our sum, like productive wages, royalty, factory expenses, that is factory rent, taxes, factory electricity, factory fuel, coal, gas, consumable stores like oil, grease, etc. Factory depreciation will be available, plant machinery depreciation will be available. So such kind of expenses given related to the factory are called as actually manufacturing expenses, production expenses. So they are actually recorded in manufacturing account, but in the absence of that manufacturing account, you can show directly in your trading account, because they are also direct expenses. And on credit side, sales minus sales return, sale of scrap of raw material available, closing stock if it is given, and then the difference we'll get, it is called as either gross profit or gross loss, which may be transferred to profit and loss account. That is what we have already seen, and we have already prepared this so many times. This account we have prepared in 11th standard. Then similarly, next account we are going to prepare is the profit and loss account. Now in profit and loss account, first you have to transfer the gross profit or gross loss from your trading account, gross loss on debit side and gross profit on credit side, that you are aware about it. Then we have to record all administrative expenses, sales and distribution expenses, financial expenses, other expenses. Okay, and also on credit side, the incomes available, other incomes available, that will be shown over here. And then we have find out the difference, that is called as net profit or net loss, which will be now transferred to profit and loss appropriation account. Over here it is written, okay, because after this we have to prepare now profit and loss appropriation account. This bifurcation, administrative expense, sales and distribution expense, financial expense, other expenses, that is not actually required in your sums when you prepare, but it is only for our knowledge that which expenses are included in administrative expenses, which expenses are called as sales and distribution expense, which are the financial expenses, that actually you should know. Okay, so that you can able to bifurcate that these are the bifurcation of expenses, and these expenses are included in such type of bifurcation. Okay, that is for our knowledge, it is given over here, and that is very good thing given in our textbook. Okay, after this profit and loss account, we have to prepare profit and loss appropriation account. So profit and loss appropriation account we have already learned in the last chapter already itself, right? So you know now actually what is included, but then too we'll discuss over here that in profit and loss appropriation account, first we have to transfer the net profit or net loss of your profit and loss account, net loss on debit side and net profit on credit side if it is there. Then on debit side, you have to record interest on capital, right? Then interest on credit balance of current account if it is there, then salary, bonus, commission or remuneration payable to partner, then any amount transferred to any reserve are recorded in the debit side of appropriation account. Credit side we have to record interest on drawings, then interest on debit balance of current account, and then the difference we'll get is called as divisible profit or divisible loss, which will be distributed among the partners in their profit sharing ratio, and that is transferred to their capital accounts. After that, partners capital accounts are given. Over here they have discussed capital accounts by fixed capital account method only, that is partners capital account, in which opening balance and additional capital given on credit side, and on the debit side the capital withdrawal available and closing balance. Then after that it is given current account, okay, where opening balance either on debit side or credit side, whichever it may be given. Credit balance on credit side you have to record, and debit balance on debit side. Then on credit side they have given interest on capital, interest on credit balance of current account, and salary, commission, bonus or remuneration, and divisible profit. On debit side drawings, interest on drawings, then interest on debit balance of current account, and divisible loss, and then the closing balances are whatever it may be. It is given only for the fixed capital account method, but in the next sentence a note is given after the current account that all items of the current account will be shown in capital account when the current accounts are not given in the question. So in short, whenever it is provided that we have to prepare the capital accounts under the fixed capital account method, or whenever there is a current account balance available, you have to use fixed capital account method and you have to prepare capital accounts and current account. But if there is nothing mentioned and no current account information is available, then you have to prepare only partners capital account under the fluctuating capital account method. Okay, this is the thing we have learned in last chapter, so that is why there is no need to have a long discussion about this partners capital account now. Okay, just now only we have finished that chapter, and just now only you did so many sums regarding this also. Okay. And after the capital account, the last thing which we are going to prepare is the balance sheet. Okay, in the balance sheet they have given the information in the form of a title. That is also again in your textbook it is available, but it is not given in the guidelines that you have to prepare the balance sheet of a partnership firm in this way only according to the title. Okay, but it is for your knowledge, and this is important for you. Why? Because another chapter, final account of company, we are going to learn in the part 2 we have, but at that time these bifurcations we have to remember, and under which type of items are included, which type of balances are included, that also we should know. Okay, that is why it is given over here. So see, that we'll discuss over here. Like see, on the liability side we have capital and liabilities. First of all, they have given fixed capital accounts, okay, that is of partner A and B. Then current accounts, but which balance it is recorded? Current account credit balances are recorded on liability side. Okay, current accounts debit balances are recorded on asset side. That we have discussed in last chapter. Okay, then reserves and surplus, which includes like general reserve, capital reserve, and other reserves if it is there. Then after that, non-current liabilities available, that is long-term liabilities given as loan from bank, loan from financial institution, loan from friends, partners loan. These are all long-term liabilities given for more than 1 year period. Okay, when the firm borrows any loan from any person, financial institution, bank or friend or partner for more than 1 year period, they are recorded under the head non-current liabilities. Okay, then available is current liability, which includes current liability means short-term liability. These are all the terms we have learned in 11th standard like bank loan, sundry creditors, bills payable, expenses outstanding, incomes received in advance, provision for taxation, provident fund, then interest outstanding on partner's loan. These are the current liabilities available. Provident fund is actually included in the long-term liability, non-current liability, but at present it is given in current liability, no problem. And also we don't have to prepare the balance sheet of a partnership firm in this way. Normal balance sheet which you have learned in 11th standard, we are going to prepare according to that only. Okay, so no need to worry about this. Then the final account of companies, when we are going to learn, at that time I will show you properly each and every item included in the different titles available. Okay, then on the asset side now, non-current assets, that is long-term assets available, under which fixed asset, which includes tangible as well as intangible. Fixed asset, tangible available as land, building, then leasehold properties, vehicles, machines, furniture and fittings. Intangible assets includes patents, trademark, goodwill, copyright, so many are there. Okay, investments are available, investments in government securities, investments of provident fund like this. Other non-current assets, that is known as your fictitious assets, deferred revenue expenditure available, right? Like we have discussed advertisement suspense account, preliminary expenses, that is deferred revenue expenditure, that you can write over here on asset side. And the current assets are given like closing stock, sundry debtors, cash balance, bank balance, incomes due, that is called as receivable income, loan lent means loan advance to any person or employee, bills receivable and prepaid expenses. And current accounts, if we have a debit balance available, are shown on the asset side of balances, and then the total of balance sheet should be same on both the sides. So that was the discussion about financial statements, different financial statements which we have to prepare in this final accounts of a partnership firm. Now we'll move about the discussion of adjustments. We have already seen, I told you in 11th standard also, that you keep the theory about these adjustments with you for 12th standard also, whatever you wrote. Okay, and I gave you that theory also, I dictated to your theory also, and we have discussed in detail all the adjustments. Same adjustments we are going to discuss in 12th standard also. Nothing new is there, only the new part was preparation of profit and loss appropriation account and partners capital or current account, because we are preparing for partnership firm. That was the new part, and that is what we have discussed in first chapter. So now the similar thing we are going to do over here with the 11th standard final account. We are going to include this to another new part. Okay, so adjustments are also same, that I told you in 11th standard that this will be helpful, these adjustments will be helpful in your 12th standard also, remember. So if you have same thing available with you in your 11th standard class workbook, I have told you to prepare this thing, and I have dictated you all the things in detail one by one for each and every adjustment entry also we have discussed, as well as the two effects also we have discussed. And same thing again it is available, see over here in your 12th standard. Okay, so the thing is what we are learning the same thing, but for a partnership firm, and its weightage is also 11 marks, and you are very much in touch of this chapter. So now I think so that you should get full 11 marks in your board exam for this chapter. Okay, let's see which kind of questions are there, that we'll see one by one, but first we'll discuss the adjustments. So see now, one by one in order, it is given in your textbook. I am going to discuss with you the adjustment entries are given as well as the two effects. Okay, I am not going to discuss each and everything, but I am going to discuss with you the things which is available over here. Okay, one by one. Like first one is about a closing stock. Okay, so closing stock of goods, we can say it is recorded in the balance sheet on asset side as well as the trading account credit side. That is how the two effects can be given. Okay, and it is an asset for the business, remember. So that is what you have to keep in mind. And its adjustment entry, that is a journal entry for all the adjustments, is called as adjustment entry, which is given over here, closing stock account debit to trading account. And two effects also given. I am discussing according to the things available only. That first it is given as asset side of balance sheet. I told you balance sheet asset side, so that is the same thing. Okay, and trading account credit side, so credit side of trading account. Then outstanding expenses. Outstanding expenses are known as our liability. We have already discussed. Okay, it is a liability for the firm, right? So the journal entry that is called adjustment entry for the outstanding expense is respective expense account debit to outstanding expense account. Now first thing is it is recorded in the debit side of trading account or profit and loss account and is added to that respective expenditure. So we used to say that it is shown in trading account or profit and loss account debit side added to respective expense, and second effect, it is our liability, so it is shown in the balance sheet on liabilities side. Okay, next one is prepaid expense, exactly opposite of this third one, prepaid expense. So prepaid expenses are known as our receivable amount. Okay, receivables are known as our asset. So the journal entry and prepaid expense means what? Expense of the next period we have paid during the current period. So expense paid in advance it is called as. So it is not related to the current year, so it cannot be shown in our current year's financial statement. That is why what are the amount, total amount available, which includes the next year expense also, so that next year expense we are going to deduct from that total amount. Okay, so the journal entry for this is prepaid expense account debit to respective expense account. And how it is recorded? So it is again related to the expenditure, means it is shown in the trading account or profit and loss account on debit side, but that prepaid expense amount will be deducted from that concerned expenditure. And second effect, it is receivable amount. Receivable amount means it is known as an asset for the firm. So it is shown in the balance sheet on asset side. Then next one, similarly for income. Now two things we have seen for expenditure, outstanding expense and prepaid expense. Now for income, receivable income we used to say as outstanding income also, or income due but not received. It is receivable word is the important thing. Receivable means our asset. So again the journal entry, receivable income account debit to that respective income account. Now income means it is shown in our profit and loss account, which side? Credit side. The first effect, profit and loss account credit side, it is added to the respective income. And second effect, it is receivable means our asset, so it is shown in the balance sheet on asset side. Then income received in advance, next one, fifth one, outstanding income received in advance, that is called pre-received income. So it is income we have received during the current year, but it is related to the next year period, so this is known as our liability. So the journal entry for this is respective income account debit to pre-received incomes account. Okay, now the effect, the first effect, it is related to the income, so it is shown in profit and loss account credit side, but it is deducted from the respective income. And second effect, on the liability side of balance sheet. Okay, then the next one, depreciation on asset. So depreciation is a revenue expense for the business, so the journal entry, depreciation account debit and to the respective asset account, because it is deducted from the asset. Okay, now the effect, so first effect, it is shown in the profit and loss account debit side, and second effect, it is shown in the balance sheet on asset side and it is deducted from the respective asset. Okay, then bad debts written off, that is new, additional, which is available in our adjustment part. Okay, so the journal entry for bad debts, the bad debts is our loss, journal entry will be bad debts account debit to the debtors account. Now effect, the bad debts is a loss, first effect, it is deducted from the debtors, it is shown in the balance sheet on asset side, it is deducted from the debtors. Second effect, it is a loss, so it is shown in profit and loss account debit side. Okay, then bad debts reserve. Now so we are going to create a reserve for bad debts for the doubtful debts in future, and it is created out of profit. So the journal entry, profit and loss account debit, this reserve which is created out of profit cannot be recorded in appropriation account. Remember, that reserve created from a profit, that bad debts reserve created from a profit is shown in profit and loss account only. So profit and loss account debit to bad debts reserve account. Again the effect is same as the bad debts you have, that bad debts reserve is also deducted from the debtors. So balance sheet asset side deducted from the debtors, first effect, and second effect shown in the profit and loss account debit side. Regarding this bad debts and bad debts reserve, we have already prepared the statement in the profit and loss account debit side during the last year. That statement is bad debts of the trial balance. It is available in your profit and loss format also, just now which we have discussed this one. It is bad debts of trial balance plus bad debts of adjustment plus bad debts reserve of adjustment, and from that total we have to deduct bad debts reserve of trial balance. That is how the bad debts and bad debts reserve can be recorded. Okay. Then the next adjustment is about discount reserve on debtors. Similarly, so discount reserve on debtors is just like a bad debts reserve we have prepared. That discount reserve means what? In future we may have to give discount to the debtors when they come for the payment purpose. So that is, for that purpose we have created a reserve, and the journal entry for that is same as the bad debts reserve entry we have seen. Profit and loss account debit to discount reserve on debtors account, and the effect also same as the bad debts reserve effect. We have first effect shown in the balance sheet on asset side deducted from the debtors, second effect profit and loss account debit side. Regarding this discount reserve, I have told you two methods to record in profit and loss account. First, you can record with discount allowed also and without discount allowed also. So if you record with discount allowed in profit and loss account, then discount allowed available in your trial balance, that you have to write first in profit and loss account debit side. To this we are going to add discount reserve on debtors of adjustment, and from this we have to deduct discount reserve on debtors of trial balance. And if you don't want to record with discount allowed, then only discount reserve of debtors of adjustment minus discount reserve on debtors of trial balance. That is also way to record the discount reserve in your profit and loss account debit side. Okay. Then the next adjustment we have available is for unrecorded credit purchase. Now unrecorded transactions regarding the goods available. See, all these things are already discussed in 11th standard also, as well as during this year also. In the previous chapter some of the adjustment we have discussed regarding interest on capital, interest on drawings, then commission, salary, bonus payable to the partners available, right? Interest on current account, right? These are all things we have discussed. Okay, so that is the same thing we are again discussing over here. So one by one, whatever the part we can complete today, we'll complete this much, that much part, and then afterwards we'll move on the next session. We'll move on the practical sums available regarding preparation of final accounts only. Okay, so and all these things are available in your textbook as well as in the classwork book of the last year. If you have kept that last year's classwork book regarding the final accounts, I hope that you have not gave it to the person who is collecting the scrap. Remember this. Okay, if you have not given it, then you may have this statement available with you only regarding the final account, otherwise you may not have. Okay, that is what you have to find out. Okay, so see, find out your classwork book about the 11th standard accountancy final account sums chapter, then you will get the same thing again. Okay, we have already discussed, and if you don't have, then you can have in your textbook also. Unrecorded credit purchase. So credit purchase unrecorded, you have to record it. That is just like a rectification of error. Okay, so we have to record it with the correct effect. So journal entry for the credit purchase is purchase account debit to the creditors account. That is your adjustment entry. Now recording the effect, the first effect, unrecorded purchases are recorded in the trading account debit side and they are added to the purchase available. Okay, and second effect, unrecorded purchases due to credit purchases due to which our liability of creditor will increase, so it is added to the creditors shown on the liability side of balance sheet. Last year we have discussed that the debtors and creditors are directly related with the purchase and sales. Debtors are directly related with the credit sales and creditors are directly related with the credit purchase. Okay, that you have to keep in mind. So if you increase your purchase, your creditors liability will also increase. If you decrease your purchase, your creditors liability also will decrease. Similarly, unrecorded credit sales. So the journal entry for credit sales is debtors account debit to sales account, and accordingly the first effect, sales is recorded in the trading account credit side. So first effect, trading account credit side added to the sales, and second effect, it is added to the debtors amount, and debtors are known as our assets. So second effect, it is shown in the balance sheet on asset side added to the debtors. Similarly, unrecorded purchase return and unrecorded sales return. So purchase return means deducted from purchase. The journal entry will be creditors account debit to purchase return account, and effects, the first effect, trading account debit side, it is deducted from the purchase, and second effect, balance sheet liability side, it is deducted from creditors. These are all the common thing. We have so many times done this thing in 11th standard also. Again we are revising this thing. Okay, similarly, unrecorded credit sales. So credit sales return, unrecorded credit sales return. So the journal entry for unrecorded sales return is sales return account debit to debtors account, and the effect, the sales return is deducted from the sales shown in the trading account credit side, and second effect, sales is directly related with the debtors, so it is also deducted from the debtors shown in the balance sheet on asset side. Okay, then purchase return recorded to the sales book. That is an error we have committed. What? It is actually purchase return of goods. By mistake it was recorded as credit sales. So there are two journal entries. It was recorded wrongly as credit sales, means we have to reverse that credit sales journal entry. So normally your credit sales entry is debtors account to sales account. You have to reverse it back because it was wrongly recorded. So the journal entry for this reversing the sales effect is the sales account debit to debtors account, and second effect for correct transaction, purchase return. So entry for purchase return is creditors account debit to purchase return account. First two effect for this journal entry. What is that? Sales account debited means your sales is decreased because sales always have a credit balance, and over here we have debited sales, so we have to decrease our sales. The first effect, trading account credit side deducted from sales, and if your sales decreases, the balance of debtors will also decrease. So second effect, balance sheet asset side deducted from debtors. Okay, now the correct two effect, other two effect, correct transaction, that is about credit purchase return. So purchase return means it is shown in the trading account debit side and is deducted from the purchase, and second effect, purchases are directly related with creditors, so it is also deducted from creditors shown in the balance sheet on liability side. Okay, similarly this sales return recorded in purchase book available same way. Okay, then the other transactions are also similar. See, credit purchase recorded to the sales book. So by mistake purchase of goods we have recorded in the sales book, so purchase entry you have to record correctly and sales entry you have to reverse back. Okay, similarly credit sales recorded to the purchase means purchase entry you have to reverse and sales entry you have to record correctly, right? Then interest on capital we have discussed, interest on drawings we have discussed, salary, commission or bonus to partners we have discussed, interest on debit balance of current account, interest on credit balance of current account. All these points we have already discussed in this last chapter, this 4-5 points. Okay, then outstanding interest on partners loan. Now this one we have discussed in the last chapter that loan advance or loan given by a partner to the firm is a liability for the partnership firm on which the partnership firm has to pay interest at a predetermined rate, and if the rate of interest is not determined then it is paid at the rate of 6% per annum according to the Indian Partnership Act 1932. Now interest on loan of a partner is considered as an expense of the partnership firm, so it is recorded in profit and loss account only, not in appropriation account. So outstanding interest on partners loan, journal entry for that is interest on loan account debit to outstanding interest on partners loan account, and the effect we can give is interest on loan is recorded in profit and loss account debit side, and it is shown as addition to the interest on loan if it is paid available. So first effect, profit and loss account debit side, and it is our liability, so second effect on the liability side of balance sheet. Likewise, the other adjustments are available. Normal adjustments are there. Amortization of goodwill, patent, trademark, that is writing of the goodwill, patent, trademark, right? Then commission payable to a partner, transfer to general reserve. These are the adjustments we have available. Writing of the leasehold property, closing stock of stationery. All these adjustments already we have discussed in 11th standard. Again, it is available over here. So that is only the point available to revise the topics which you have discussed, revise the adjustment which you have discussed. So now we'll move on in the next session, that is we are going to move on the sums which are given in this chapter regarding the financial statements. Okay, so that will discuss one by one. Exercise questions available regarding the final accounts of a partnership firm. Okay, so all of you, again, you go through these all the adjustments available in your textbook. It is given on page number 41. Starting from page number 41, all the adjustments available till page number 44. So all of you go through this adjustment again, so that you can revise your adjustment part, and we can move on the final account sum also in the next session. Okay, so today we'll end up this session and we'll meet again, that is we'll see the sums, practical sums, in the next session again. Okay, thank you, take care and stay home.